Okay, we ready to rock?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Are you ready to rock? Ha!
Justin is ready to go today on the podcast. Leave that part in. He's ready to rock. He's ready to rock. Dude, what? Yes, we're leaving that in. It's Brenda. You meant to be a rock star. What did you dress up for Halloween, dude? Saw a couple of rock stars out there.
That's awesome. I didn't dress. Wait, what did we? Oh, I dressed up. We all had colas. So I was Pepsi. Jen was Coke.
Yeah, you've always been a Pepsi guy.
Yeah, and then the kids were all their favorite ones.
Is that okay? First of all, Coke Pepsi, is that like a real thing in your household? Is she a Coke person?
Not hardcore.
Oh, okay,
but I'm more Pepsi. At least because it was cool back when I was in high school. It was cool.
Pepsi was cool.
And that's what I felt. I was trying to earn all the points I could.
What were the rest of your kids? Did anybody go RC Cola? Like
no,
Tab?
Wait, one of them was Fanta.
Oh, dude, Fanta.
Yeah, one of them was Fanta.
I always have to have an orange Fanta when I'm in Europe. I don't know. I feel like Fanta's like big
I did.
over
We
there.
drank a lot of Fanta when we were in Rome.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more flavors over there. And then Josh was root beer. I said mug, and he's all, it's A&W. I'm like, holy cow, okay.
He's like very specific.
Abby was Dr. Pepper, which really Josh should have been Dr. Pepper because he was born in Texas, and that's all they drink over there.
Oh, yeah.
And then
college football and Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. And then Hannah was Sprite.
Oh,
so
nice.
No dye for Hannah. So she has to go Sprite.
Go with Sprite.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I was out, we had the Harvest Festival on Friday
was
night.
That good?
It was really good.
Okay.
Like lots of families from the community coming through. Donnie Fugate from Foxway Baptist and then Randy from community worked together to organize all the volunteers. We had people from the Morgan Hill campus that came to volunteer, and lots of families were coming through. It was a lot of fun. So like we were working because we were moving hay bales and organizing stuff. And so I threw on my True Student Ministry sweatshirt. Yeah. Someone's like, what, you're not going to dress up? I'm like, I dressed up as a youth worker.
That's right.
I'm on Shelley's youth ministry team. Yeah. I'm a volunteer. I love students, you know? What do we have? Cameron went as a cowgirl, and then Jordan was a police officer. I'm like, love it, right?
All right,
so I even got out one of my old hats and threw it on her and stuff like that, one of my law enforcement stuff. But yeah, it was a great event.
Nothing for your wife, Dawn?
No, my wife dressed up. She like created all herself, was like an old school, like, gumball dispenser machine. And so the whole thing looked like gumballs and stuff. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh.
They went, Dawn and the girls went and hung with a bunch of families. Yep. You know how everybody now goes to, like, it seems like certain neighborhoods, like certain streets and certain neighborhoods are like that spot.
There's a bus that comes into my neighborhood and drops people off.
To come to your spot, yeah. And so they have friends who live on the street in their area of San Jose. And so there was like food trucks, all this stuff. Wow. Yeah, they do it big. And so they went there, and then they came to the Harvest Festival for like the last hour of that, which was really cool. And there's like the pony running around. There's art and craft stuff to do, games.
The pony was in a cage, right?
No. They actually, this guy is awesome.
That's right.
Walking around at Foxworthy. The kids get on and they get to walk around and ride the pony, and families are taking pictures.
With it. It's not running wild.
No, they're not like, let's just let kids go free out into Foxworthy. So anyways, we had some great events last week with that. Student Ministries had a great event.
They had a huge event. Big event. Shelly and her team did a trunk or treat that was really for students. And like neighborhood kids were coming down the street dressed up, trying to get in for candy, and she's handing out candy to them, but kind of like letting them know it's a student event. They're like,
yeah. People want to participate. People are looking for the good parts and connection, as we've talked about. They're looking for those community events and to be with others, and that's so huge. That's the redeeming part we talked about a week ago. That hey, there's some things on a night like Halloween we could take that are good. Being with family, being with community, putting an event on like Shelly did and like we did at Foxworthy. And then, but we got to be aware of there's a dark side, and it just really attaches to last week. There's an enemy who wants to lie to us about who we are and make us forget who we are.
Our identity.
Yeah, and this week we hit on identity. And what was amazing for me is we talked about really kind of focus on purpose, but we said you can't understand purpose unless you understand your identity.
Right.
I had multiple conversations with people about what I really believe is their identity, right? Who they are in Jesus in their everyday life. It's not just, hey, I come to Sunday or Thursday and worship, and somehow that's the extent of my Christian identity.
Right.
It's no, they know first who my identity is. I'm a follower of Jesus. And so that's played out in my neighborhood. So a gentleman walks up, I shared this in third service, walked up to me before third service And a few weeks ago, he had said, man, I want to see us fill up heaven. I want to see people won to Christ. And he's really speaking from his own experience of coming to Jesus and what he's found.
You want this for someone else,
Yeah,
right?
He's like, I want people to know Jesus. His identity has changed. And he said, I've been thinking like I need to invite my neighbor to church. Mm-hmm. And he said, but it happened the opposite way. He's like, the neighbor's been watching how we live and who we are and came and said, hey, I want to go to your church with you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible.
And so this is happening. And then the other conversation I had, and you probably had conversations at church too, mm-hmm. like there's a lady last week coming out of the talk about the enemy going, hey, I am super discouraged. I've been put in this leadership environment to lead this group. It's new for me. I wasn't set up very well. Mm-hmm. I'm discouraged. And I don't know, should I quit because that's the wise thing to do because sometimes this isn't good for me because I'm frustrated? Or is that the enemy trying to push me out? And I said,
that's hard to figure out.
So we need to pray about it. Mm-hmm. I said, if it becomes toxic, if you know, like this is damaging to my faith journey and where I'm at, 'cause she's done a lot of healing
emotional
on her own.
Health,
yeah, then you might need to step up. But I said, I think God's really developing you as a leader. I see that in her too. Right. And this is what her boss saw in her, or the person who oversees this program. And she said, she came back to me this week. It was amazing. She's like, with joy, and just said, hey, she told me she was in the house. Show me specifically where she was. She's like, I was praying that God would begin to shift, my leadership, some hard conversation I need to have. She's like, I want to come with truth and grace, but even out of some of my own history, it's hard for me to do that well with people who can be frustrating. And she said, it was unbelievable. The one person in this group that's been the hardest for her, she finishes praying. She goes to the phone and there's a text from this person. And the text completely opened the door to the conversation she needed to have. That's awesome. She's like, I need to be dependent on God. And this is a person, one in their neighborhood and one in their work, who's like, I am a child of God. Yeah. That's who I is. That's my identity. Yep. I need to let him lead. I need to be dependent on him, and seeing it lived out in their everyday life. Yeah,
I mentioned that in the services I taught, this week as well. I said, listen, this is going to sound weird, but it is more important for me to understand that I'm a son of God, I'm a child of God, more than it is that I'm a preacher for God.
100%.
Because I could lose myself in what goes along with this job. I mean, I could lose myself, not even in the bad things of this job. I mean, there's definitely those, but you can become an approval junkie as a preacher, and you can form a cult of personality around yourself, and you can put yourself in a bubble of praise, and you can lose yourself in that. So my identity, I'm talking about my own journey. So
no, I'm 100% agreeing with you though. This is big for me right now.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah. I have to fully understand that the most important thing in my life, even beyond my calling, is understanding that God loves me as his child.
Yes.
And that's hard, and I don't know if that's weird for the audience to hear or not. I heard that, over the last few weeks from people about, hey, we have to really understand where our identity rests in, and I'm like, yeah, that's something I want to work on, because I don't want it to be like, well, I work for God, so I'm earning something, because we can slide into that really easy.
No, and I've been in seasons where I felt I've been really content and at peace, and I just know that I'm loved by God. And then there's seasons where I struggle. I feel like I have to earn it. I'm not enough. And this is such a big deal. It's a battle you will fight your whole life, because the enemy wants to tell you something different. You're not of value. You're not of worth. You have to do things to earn, right? It makes us busy and makes us feel like I've got to do all this stuff somehow to please God.
Or in our line of work, you're not qualified. That's the one.
All the time. All the time. Who are you to preach the word of God? Who are you to call people to Jesus? I just want and you and I haven't talked about this, but this is really big for me right now in our church, and I feel like it's part of where God is leading us as a church, as He's done an amazing work, as people have been called to Him. We've seen, and I believe there's some revival happening. Right. He's calling people to Him. People can get easily wrapped up in the works piece. Oh, now I have to do. Right. And we have to know our identity as a child of God. I've told you this on this podcast before. One of the best things that ever happened to me in my life is I stepped out of ministry work and I went to work in law enforcement for a time. And I realized, like, my identity is not wrapped up as a pastor or anything. That is not who I am. It's what I do. It's part of my calling right now. It doesn't matter if I'm a pastor. It doesn't matter if I'm working for a funeral home. I'm stocking shelves at Safeway. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. My identity first is exactly what you said to me. I'm a child of God, and I am loved by God. And what I mean about this, where we're going as a church, I sat on Tuesday night and just was able to worship, right? I was at a conference that we've attended before. I ended up going to do some learning sessions, but there was this worship event on the Tuesday night connected to it. And the whole thing was focused on the fact that we're just loved. Sometimes we try and do that striving. And it was good for me to sit in the room and just worship and be reminded of that and hear that again and to be refreshed with that. And I do think as we go into 2026, there's some aspect of our community needs to hear you're just loved. Yeah. I know we speak that message all the time, but I think particularly for followers of Jesus, who we can fall back into trying to earn our faith somehow, that again, that idea that we're beloved. And I just think we need to spend a few weeks somewhere in that and enjoy that, because that's a place of joy. That's a place of identity and fulfillment, is that, man, I'm loved by the creator of the universe.
Yeah, not only that, there's a place of security there. Like, you know, when you're not secure in your identity, you open the door for worry and anxiety. Depression would be the end of that. I mean, it's almost chaotic if you don't know who you are. So, I absolutely agree with you. I think we are seeing the revival pieces. We're seeing people say yes to Jesus. I think the next step that we're starting to see is people want to dig down deeper. They want to make sure their roots are deep. They understand what it means to follow Jesus. They're seeing what's going on in our culture and around us, and they want their roots to grow down. They want to keep going in the journey. Yeah. And so I think, the first step is for people to really understand, no, you're really loved by this God. The God of the universe really, really loves you. And you can just rest in that peace. Like there's peace there for that. I think it's important because we just wrestle with, I think it's the culture. We both grew up here. We grew up in Silicon Valley. There is just a culture around us that is, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's your job? Where are you going? Like what company are you at? All of those things. And Christianity's different than that. It's who you are. Who are you? Not what are you doing? And when we're striving towards the things of this world, at the end of the day, they're going to be empty. Now, find the job that does all the things for you, flicks all those switches and uses all of your gifts, and then shine your light in there, the light of Jesus.
Yeah, you have a gifting to be used.
Absolutely.
But it's not the career that brings fulfillment. I want people to be, again, back, when I'm confident in my identity, I don't have to be you're not a pastor. It doesn't matter who you are. You're a follower of Jesus. Man, I can walk into an environment and I ask God to show me what needs to be done here, to lead with his humility and grace and with his wisdom. Man, I can pray over people. I can minister to people. Not in a Christian environment. I can love my neighbor. I can care about them. I can find ways to serve them because I have confidence in my identity, who I am in Jesus, frees me, right, to love in that way. And that's what I want for a church as we close this out. As you said, as we disciple people, to use a churchy word, that means to grow them in their faith, right, to form them to be more like Jesus. I want them to be formed out of understanding that they are loved. They're not trying to earn, not like, I got to check the next box of rules. Like, no, I know so deeply that I'm just loved by Jesus that, man, my response is I want to grow in depth. Right. I want to know more. I want to put down roots. I want to do things like Jesus would do out of a joy and not out of a duty that, oh man, I better keep these rules, right? I better produce because somehow I'm not qualified, and my eternity's at stake somehow. And when God says, no, it's secure. And we battle that as humans. So I'm excited about where we're going.
Yeah. Hey, one other thing that's going to happen this week is in our newsletter, we're going to send out the spiritual gift assessment. Again, it's just an online quiz that we have on our website that it might help point you in the right direction. It's not the rule for your life. So if you figure out how to skew the results in the way you want them to, or if it doesn't come back making any sense to you, go to somebody that you know and knows you and understands you and ask them what they think about the results of that, or call us and we'll sit down and look at it for you. But it's just to help you kind of assess maybe the way God has wired you up.
It's a tool, right? And then there's lots of tools and ways, and you need to be praying, God, reveal this to me.
Right.
And then for parents, again, Saturday. So the gifts assessment will be in the newsletter. Usually comes out Thursday. Saturday is this faith and future seminar that we are investing in. And if you're a parent, if you have to change your schedule. I'll be here with my wife. We have childcare for you. We haven't done anything like this in a long time, if ever, for parents. How do we train you and equip you to make your house a place of faith where you're building your kids up in the faith and understanding some of the challenges that they're facing in their world, because their world's changing fast. Every day it's different for them. So please, I really encourage you, 9:00 a.m. Saturday, November 8th at the Morgan Hill campus, and invite people to come with you from the neighborhood, people you know from other churches, other parents you know, families from school.
It's going to be a great day.
I think it's going to be a high value.
Yeah.
Hey, God bless you. God willing, we'll see you on Thursday or Sunday, and hopefully parents at the seminar on Saturday, November 8th, 9 to noon. God bless.